All right, beautiful people, kings and queens, welcome to the NBR Show. And I'm your host, Natasha Russell, or should I say Natasha B. Russell, aka NBR. And I'm all about inspiring, motivating, empowering you, me, and people all over the world to truly believe in ourselves, our talents, our abilities, and to go after our dreams and to achieve our goals. So what do? I am the CEO of NBR Strategic Solutions. We are a PR agency and we work with small businesses to help them build their brand strategy and get seen in the public eye. I'm also a transformation coach and motivational speaker. And again, I work with men and women to help them achieve their goals and their dreams. So welcome, beautiful people. I'm so excited to have you for another episode of the NBR Show. For those of you who are here, why don't you tell me where you're coming in from? Where do you live? Are you in Canada like myself? Calgary, Alberta? Where are you tuning in from? Today's topic is a very important one. We're talking about self-love, falling in love with yourself, loving you for who you are. And I'm big on collaborations. I love to connect with other business owners, and I've invited Amanda Hess to join me today. So she is she's a life coach. I know she began her career doing styling, helping you guys look good out there. And so she's made a transition. And so today we're going to be talking exactly about that, falling in love with you, because you know what? You are your number one asset. And if you don't love yourself, then truly, how can you love anybody else? All right. So without further ado, let's get our beautiful guest on the show. Again, we have Amanda Hess. She's from Calgary like myself. How did we meet? We actually met through Randy. So if you tuned in yesterday, Randy Gallant connected us. And we ended up doing a show, or not just a show, an event last November, Communicate with Confidence. She's one of my guest speakers. And she did an amazing job. And the funny thing about her is we hadn't even met before then. Like, we had talked on the phone, we had meetings, but we never met in person until the day of the event. And our connection was just great. We're all about helping you boost your confidence, love yourself for who you are, and again, achieve your goals. All right, so where's Amanda? Let's invite her to the show.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm so good, thank you.
Are you enjoying the sunshine that we're getting today?
Well, yes, I golfed earlier and it was so windy. It was like insanity.
Right? I was just out there just before the show, just to get a little bit of vitamin D. And I was like, why does the wind always have to ruin everything,
It's so true.
We want the summer, we want the spring, all the nice weather. And then, we get the nuisances that come along, the wind, the bugs, but I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful nonetheless because at least it's warm out there,
Yeah, totally. I'm like, at least I got to go golfing today. So I would take that as a complete win. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, officially, welcome to the NBR Show. Thank you for joining me today. I was just sharing with the audience how we actually met. We connected through Randy, and, he was like, you guys would do just great together. And so we ended up I had an event, invited you to speak. It was awesome. And here we are today. So why don't, this is always my number one question for those of the people in the audience. I see we got people from Canada, Calgary, so maybe just a lot of Canadian folks today. If there's anybody from the US, from the Caribbean, let us know. From Africa, England, feel free to tune in and tell us where you're from. So again, our topic today is falling in love with you. And so, Amanda, you're a life coach. I know you began your career were you doing fashion, styling?
Yeah, so I was working as a stylist, and I was working as a stylist, taking people shopping, going through their closets, helping them really reinvent themselves, I guess, from the outside in. In doing that, I started offering some coaching as a part of that because I started seeing so many women, and men too, honestly, but so many women that just had body image issues and just didn't see themselves the way that I saw them and couldn't even find what was beautiful about themselves anymore and just really wanted to hide. And when I saw that, I really got passionate about helping women stop hiding and, trying to make themselves smaller and trying to just fit in all the time because fitting in is an illusion.
Right? The whole, especially social media is the worst for that, because there's people out there that feeling they have to conform to some standard, but the only standard is your standard, people, right? You got to love you for you. So I'm going to ask you my number one question. Who are you, Amanda? Who is Amanda Hess?
Changes all the time. So yeah, I'm Amanda. I am a life coach, as you already said, and you gave me such a beautiful introduction. I own a company called 3S Confidence, and what I do is I do help women mainly fall back in love with themselves, fall back in love with their appearance, with their relationships, with their purpose, with their life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
so
worries.
I
It
am a life
happens.
coach, and then I'm a mom. So I have a 9-year-old and 13-year-old, both boys here at home with me. I'm a wife. I've been married for over 17 years.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
a long time. My gosh, good for you. You're going to share some secrets on another show.
That's
All
Get real
right.
comfortable with yourself and owning your own stuff. That's
Yeah.
what I would say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you love what you do. I know you're passionate about helping women not, hide, because, nowadays it's like, oh, you're supposed to be a size zero or whatever. I don't believe in the size. I believe in being healthy.
Yeah.
That is very important, people. We need to take care of our health, because our health is our wealth. And so it's not about conforming to what society says you should look like, that size zero that you're trying to aim for. Or, we have a lot of women, and I'm sure men too, now going into like Botox, doing all these kind of liposuction, certain surgeries to enhance themselves. And my message to you is just love yourself for who you are. You were not created in error. Like, how you were created was perfect enough. And so it's up to you just to maintain your health, and love you for who you see in the mirror, not what you see out there. So we're going to be diving into that a bit today, Amanda, and I'm excited because people need to really hear this, And I always like to say this: write a goal. What's one goal that you want to achieve prior to the end of the year? Could be a fitness goal, a health goal, a business goal, a finance goal. I'm all big on helping you all achieve your goals and your dreams. So, Amanda, before we got interrupted by Uber
So
Eats, you were
sorry.
that's okay, it's okay, it happens. You were telling me about your passion for helping women, feel good about themselves, And before we really dive into that, I was saying, why don't you share a little funny fact about yourself with the audience?
There's so many. I thought I would share one that's kind of funny. It's kind of like a little bit of a funny story. So I used to ride horses. Like, I lived in the country with my family, and I had horses, and I worked actually at the stable that was like kitty corner to my high school. That's what I did. One day when I was riding my horse, I decided I was going to ride her over the overpass because I wanted to go see another horse that was on the other side of the highway.
Yeah.
And just want to share with you what an 18, 17, 18-year-old brain does not do, which is think logically that my horse might spook at the cars coming underneath the overpass.
Yeah.
So I'm riding and my horse is spooking, and I'm thinking that I'm going to die
Oh
because my
no.
horse is going to throw me off this overpass.
I'm just envisioning that happen right now. I ride horses a lot when I would go to Jamaica on the beach, and just like if anything came out of nowhere, it just start to go faster. And I'm like, okay, calm down, right? Because they are powerful human beings. Well, not human beings, but beings, animals.
Yeah.
So I can imagine you being there and that happening. But gladly you're safe is what I'm here, because you're here
I
today.
just It's miraculous that I didn't die. And, honestly, then I walked her across the overpass, and then I took her on this other bridge and thought, oh, for sure, she needs to go on this bridge. And she ended up backing off of it, and we were in this mud bog. It was bananas. Like, how my parents were just like, oh, it's all good. Go ride across the highway is truly a mystery to
No
me.
way. Well, back then there was probably less regulations, right? Parents were not worried about the things as we are nowadays as parents, right?
Yeah,
Much more
well, mine weren't.
all right. So people who are out there, again, today we're talking about falling in love with yourself. So the first question I want to ask you out there is, what is your definition of self-love? And if you have any questions for Amanda and I while we are chatting, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and we will answer it as we're going through our conversation. But I say that, Amanda, because a lot of people have different interpretations of what love is and loving themselves means. What does it mean to take care of you? So I want to hear from you guys out there. All right. So tell me one more thing that you like to do apart from horseback riding or golfing when you're not working. What do you do for fun?
I love water skiing. So I actually love that it's summer, and I'm really hoping to be able to get out on the lake and do some water skiing. Just love gardening, just being outside. I love the
Mhm.
summer. I'm just like a sun girl. My husband jokes that I'm solar powered, and I kind of
Oh, really?
am.
You got that energy, eh? The rays.
Yeah, exactly. In the winter, I ski and I do all that. And, we just like to try to stay active and do activities that we can do as a family and we can do together as much as possible. Because, of course, like during the day, everybody is at work and at school, although not so much right now. I mean, I'm
No.
still working, but everybody else is home, right?
Right. That for me has been an adjustment for sure. Bringing my daughter to the bus stop and then going to the office and then we, pick her up and we go home. But now having her home full time and not only teaching her the curriculum, but then actually doing the homework, it's like double the work. Plus running my business and then coaching as well. And cooking, health stuff, like it can be overwhelming at times, right? And for me, it's like I have to ask myself every day, what's most important today? Like what's
Yeah,
really important to me? And then having my calendar reflect that. So booking in time for self-care, because you got to do that. Like first thing in the morning for me,
so
it's like, okay,
smart.
workout time, and then it's kindergarten or grade one time, should I say, and then it's business time in the afternoon, right? So it's all about organization and again, focusing on what's important to you. So you're saying you work with a lot of women and you've worked with men too, with the
Hmm.
styling in the past?
I did. Yeah, I've worked
Yeah.
with both, but predominantly women. And, women are beautiful. I actually think all women are beautiful.
Of
Just
course.
and I think that we actually all feel that way until we turn eyes on ourselves and look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we start picking ourselves apart, right? And it's really interesting because a lot of times we talk about ourselves in really self-depreciating terms. And the thing is you have to be really conscious of the thoughts that you're having because they become permanent. They're your beliefs, and you need to challenge those beliefs and ask yourself, like, is that really true? And I see it when you're looking in the mirror. I see it when women are just even considering what's possible, right? What's possible for your life, and so many of us have been taught or, conditioned to a certain extent to not have dreams, right? To be realistic. And so learning how to dream again, that's a
Yeah,
skill.
it is. It is when you like I said, there's so much out there that's telling you what you should look like, what size you should be, like even down to the complexion of your skin. There's all these artificial, what I call visuals of what beauty is, and
Mm-hmm.
beauty is what you name it for yourself. Like it's really, like I said, loving yourself for who you are, not comparing yourself. And that's a big issue nowadays is that a lot of women are comparing themselves to other women. I had a cousin who I remember years ago when she had her daughter and I had my daughter. And this was her like fourth child. She snapped right back like that, like it was nothing. And I had my daughter, and it took me a very long time, just maybe up to a year ago, to get back to where I was pre-pregnancy. Still working on that, but it was like the pressure from people. Oh, well, she did it, so why can't you? And I'm like, look, I'm not her. I'm me. And more importantly, I have to love me for me before any changes are going to occur. You talked about mindset, which is critical. You know this based on what you heard me speak, and beliefs, people. What you believe is what you achieve. If you think that you're not beautiful, if you think that you're not capable, if you think that you're not able, those things, you create your reality. And I believe a lot of times we forget that what we think about all the day, every day, all the time, creates something. It becomes something. And you mentioned devaluing ourselves, that self-talk, right? How many times have you even heard somebody talk negatively about themselves? Like they may not be able to accept a compliment, or you compliment them and they're like, yeah, but if only I were like this, then I would be better or I would look better, right? So when you're dealing with your clients who have these poor self images, what are some things that you share with them?
Well, I think first of all, it's really important to understand that the reason why we want to change is because of how we think we're going to feel when we get there. And
Mhm.
that's really interesting, right? So when I lose 20 pounds, I'm going to be happy. And
No.
that is just not true, but it's something we believe like in our soul, like it's programmed into our core. And so, what we need to start understanding is that happiness is a choice. And that is something that gets said a lot. And the reason why people say it is because it's true, but it's also hard to do. It requires vigilance, and it really does require understanding that the truth of the matter is loving yourself fully will give you everything you ever wanted, because it will allow you to feel that way whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you want.
Yes. What do you people feel out there? Do you agree? I agree with this. How many of you feel pressured to look a certain way? Feel free to say yes, or to be a certain size. That is so true, Amanda. It's loving, like I keep saying this, you just got to love yourself for you, people. Really, you generally do. Because if you think losing 20 pounds will make you more beautiful, or you're going to love yourself better, actually, that's a physical component. It's not a belief component. And you see this on all the time. People who have lost, like, they've done massive weight loss. They've gone to maybe a surgery, like very unhealthy, came back down to size. And when they look in the mirror, all they still see is that old self. Like, they can't even see the new them, the new me, right? All the work they put in because of the belief. Like, oh, yeah, I'm fat. If you keep telling yourself you're fat, people, you will become fat. That is just the way it is, right? But if you can start telling yourself, I love myself the way I am, I appreciate myself the way I am, as you continue to work toward a journey, it may be for your health. Like I said, man, in the beginning, your health is your wealth, people. So I believe, even for myself, I work out not to fit into a certain size, but because I care about my health, and I want to keep my heart strong, and I want to keep my mindset strong, So it's really looking in the mirror and saying, I'm good, I'm happy with who I am. And that's where true change begins, So Amanda, I know you've been doing this, is like you've done a career change from the design, clothing people on the external, to now working with them internally. How long have you been doing that? Like, how long have you been an entrepreneur?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for like 10 years. So I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. And when I first experienced entrepreneurship, it was through a direct selling company. And, I found such freedom there, and the ability to work from home, and to be able to be a mother to my children, but also be exposed to personal development and all of those things. And I've left direct sales, but I still hold love in my heart for the opportunities that it brings people, whether you love it or you hate it. It really does give you the opportunity to see yourself in a very, very different light. And I feel it was a real gift to be able to look at myself and see myself as somebody else other than, a young mother with a small baby and a preschooler and experiencing postpartum depression and all of that, right? That's what my life looked like 10 years ago. And so being an entrepreneur, it's the hardest, most gut-wrenching, beautiful, amazing experience you can ever have in your life.
It's true, people. We know this. Like, being an entrepreneur is a ton of work, but when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. I feel like that's the groundwork, at the beginning stages. It's really figuring out who you want to serve, how you're going to serve them, what's your message, like, what's your brand, who are you? And once you get that down pat, then everything else becomes easier, people. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you are your own boss already and things are not going as smoothly, I want you to know we've all been there. Okay, we've all been there. But once you find the magic, then it just starts to create more. So keep going with it, So then who inspires you, or what inspires you, Amanda, to do what you do every day?
I'm inspired by so many things. I just actually I had hired a marriage coach about a year and a half ago. And she had reached out to me to say she was just so happy for me with all that I was doing right now, and how proud of me she was with all that I was accomplishing. And, I said to her, I was like, if it wasn't for you, I don't even know that I would be here right now. And so she was a huge inspiration, and bolstered my confidence and allowed me to see how much control I had in my life. And I think that was a huge catalyst for me even to switch my business, because I realized that, man, so many women don't believe in themselves. And I just know it from seeing my own journey that's true. And so, right, she inspired me. I love Byron Katie right now. I've been reading her books. And, if you want to go deep with yourself and really ask yourself, do I want to take control of my life? Her books are amazing. And, I've been reading Glennon Doyle's new book. It's incredible. I'm inspired by so many different people. There is so much inspiration out there.
Yeah, of course, right? And I love what you said, right? You can find inspiration in many places, right? And it's really who resonates with you at the time, you know? So your marriage counselor was a huge impact in your life. And 17 years going strong, I can see that could probably play a role in there somewhere.
Yeah, but she's a marriage coach, not a counselor. So
Oh,
it's
coach.
important to like note the difference, because there is a difference between coaching and counseling. But
Yes, absolutely.
yes,
So
absolutely.
she played a huge part in your role, of course, and where you are today. And, you know, for me, like what I say what inspires is my little girl, of course, you know, she's here. It's the ability to get up and work with a client and see them grow and evolve into who they were called to be, to find that purpose and that clarity and show up with the confidence, you know. That has never, for me, wasn't always an easy thing. And you've heard my story before, but I wasn't always confident. It was a process, right? And so people, it's not something that you just wake up, they say fake it till you make it. I actually don't really believe in that. That's just
Yeah.
like putting a band-aid on it. You actually got to dig deep and find out, what is it? What is the belief that I have or been holding around myself? And how do I change that belief? And when you're able to change that belief, then you're able to change your life, you're able to change your reality, you're able to change your perspective on how you view things, how you see things, and how you achieve things, you know? So I love what you said about that. And people out there, why don't you share with me too? What or who may inspire you to do what you do? What do you do? Are you a boss? You know, a business owner? Are you thinking of starting your own business? Or are you, and that's okay, are you an employee? But do you love what you do? So let's talk a little bit about confidence, Amanda. You know, I love this. We have an upcoming event, people, on June 10th.
So
So for all of
excited.
you, yeah, I'm really, we got a lot of people signing up already. So for all of you who want to build confidence, Amanda and I, she's going to be another guest speaker at my event on June 10th. We're talking about exactly how to do that, how to build your self-esteem, how to eliminate self-limiting beliefs so that you can really shine for you. And that's on June 10th. So go on to my website, natashabrussell.com, and you can get tickets, because me and Amanda will be together via Zoom, you know, delivering a great presentation for you all. So confidence. With men, I'm just curious. I know you work more with women now, but I'm really curious to know, like, when you were styling men,
Mm-hmm.
what were some of the concerns they had?
You know, for men, it's really different because they don't tend to have the same body hangups that women have. It's not exactly the same thing. Where they struggle with confidence is, does this even go? And can I put this together? And, you know, somebody told me once that I'm not supposed to wear straight ties anymore. I mean, it was really fascinating. And then even just having the ability to be creative and play, right? Like, try on this jacket with this shirt, see if it works, be
Yeah.
curious. And I think that we really lose our curiosity. And that really takes away from, I don't know what comes first. It's sort of like the chicken or the egg, but we have to be confident enough to be curious and
Yeah.
curious enough to be confident, right?
I
It's
love
it's
it.
a little of both.
I love it. I love it. So we got some comments out here. People, if you have questions for Amanda, feel free to put them in the comment section. Anti-fragile female says, love you and the work you're doing, Amanda. Is that
Gosh.
someone you know
Yeah, that's
personally?
Anna. Thanks,
All
Anna.
right. Thanks for the love on behalf of Amanda. Amanda. We got Andrea, who said just learned something new with a marriage coach. Great, and I'm glad you learned something. And we got Root Tika. Hopefully I said that properly. She said, you ladies are fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
now that we talked a little bit about the men, what are some of the issues you found when you were, you know, I know you're not doing this really now, but when you were styling women, because it does play a role in how we see ourselves, you know?
I think, you know, with women, it really comes down to with most women. With most women, I mean, some women just needed some help with like throwing outfits together for sure, and they were fine,
Yeah.
and they didn't have confidence issues. They had more time issues, and maybe they weren't really 100% clear. But when I would have somebody hire me, and it was a fuller package where we were going through their closet and going out shopping and doing coaching, what I would say is ultimately, when you're trying to hide things on your body, just like when you're trying to hide things about yourself, right, that you think aren't okay, that you have determined are wrong or they don't fit or they're not right, you can't get anywhere. You can't really find what looks good on you. And that's why you're always in Lululemons, and that's why you're always wearing black, and that's why you're always wearing things that are like the same over and over again. So the truth is that you need to start being able to understand that you have things about you that maybe aren't in a magazine considered to be what a model needs to have to be beautiful, but they're what's beautiful and amazing and bright and shiny about you. And, that's the same thing that, I do with coaching, because that's the truth, is like finding those big, beautiful things about you and highlighting them. And that's where the beauty lies. And that's where you can start changing your belief about yourself, because you can start seeing the beautiful things. Absolutely. And they might not be the things you think they are, because you haven't looked at yourself like that before.
Mm-hmm. So when you say you haven't looked at yourself like that before, and I love that, when you work with your clients, how are you helping them to see themselves as they should? With the bright, shiny, beautiful things about them? Are there things that you use, or tactics, or tools that you use to help them see the best in themselves?
When I'm working with somebody, what I'm really trying to do is show them how they're having certain thoughts that cause them to have certain feelings. Your feelings come from your thoughts, not from what's happening to you. And so once you can start to understand that, we can start breaking down what's happening, the thoughts that you're having, the feelings that you're having about that, and then the actions you're taking. So potentially maybe the action that you're taking is beating the living crap out of yourself every day because of how you look. So why are you taking that action, right? What's happening? What are you thinking about yourself? And then what we can do is we can start breaking that down. Is that true? And do you want to think that anymore? Sometimes one of the things that I love to ask my clients is, why are you choosing to think that? And you can ask yourself that when you look in the mirror and you're saying, oh, this isn't good enough, or this is too fat. You can ask yourself, why am I choosing to think this about myself? From a very kind and empathetic place, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's true. You can choose people. And I say this a lot. Like, what you think of becomes your words, then becomes your actions, And you touch on something. You have a choice, people. Yes, we do. We have a choice to choose our thoughts. Are these thoughts going to empower me? Or are they going to deflate me? Are they going to make me feel better about myself? Or are they going to make me feel worse, right? So we got to really think about what we're thinking about, and may our thoughts be empowering to us. And I love what you said about those big, shiny things, finding those things. With my clients, I talk about, affirmations, right? And the thing about affirmations is you got to really believe what you're saying about yourself first before you can add on. They got to be true, because you can look yourself in the mirror every day and tell yourself something. But if you don't really believe it to be true, you will not get a shift. And I say a shift in the sense of a mindset shift. But if you can start with the small things that you love, that you're good at, that will build your confidence. That will build your belief system and give you the ability to create new beliefs around what you may be feeling or thinking about yourself. So people out there, yes, you have to think, what am I thinking? Choose your thoughts. Choose your thoughts, and may they be empowering, knowing that you are beautiful. And I always say this, for me, it was like when, I said back in, my story, but when I struggled with low confidence, it was a combination of being ill when I was a child. I had a speaking disability, if you want to call it, but a speaking illness, the very rare. And then I was on drugs that made me gain a ton of weight. And then before I knew it, I was just like body shaming myself. Oh, I didn't want to. It was summer. I was wearing sweaters. I was covering up, like you said, wearing all the black and everything, because I didn't want to be seen. But I remember when I heard one day my parents, like I say, they weren't religious, but they took me to church, or my grandmother, I should say, took me to church. She was like, the pastor that day said, we were fearfully and wonderfully made. And for me, that was my mindset shift, Amanda, was just knowing, wait a minute, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So that means that I am beautiful just the way I am. And then it was building, those little nuggets of building my confidence, which has got me to where I am today. So sometimes I think people believe that you wake up and just become confident. No, people, it is a process. And it's really around your beliefs, your belief systems. What are the beliefs that you hold true for yourself? Let's see. If you have any questions, people, feel free to put in the question or the comment section. We're wrapping up here shortly. Rick Ty says, got to be curious enough to be confident, and confident enough to be curious. Loves it. I love it too. Got to add that one. So if you have any questions, feel free. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, Amanda, I know we talked about the entrepreneurial journey, and yes, it can be tough. But what are some of the rewarding things about being an entrepreneur?
I think the rewarding thing about being an entrepreneur is you can do whatever you want to do. You are
Yeah.
in charge of you. You get to
Right?
decide exactly what your business is going to look like and what it's going to include and what it isn't going to include and who you're going to work with and who you're not going to work with. And also, you get to put out in the world what you're passionate about. It really gives you a voice. It gives you that opportunity to, you know, really do what you're passionate about. You know, I've been doing this running journey. I don't know if you've seen that I've been decided to
No,
train.
what is that?
During COVID, I decided I was going to train for a marathon. So I've been doing that. And I was running, my long run was 8 miles this week. And I was listening to the Success Principles by Jack Canfield on my run, right? And
Love
it takes me
him.
a long time, you guys, to run 8 miles. And
That's
it,
okay. Baby steps. You gotta start somewhere.
but it was so great listening to that book again. I haven't read it in a long time. I don't know if you've ever read it. Natasha, have you read it?
I have a long time ago.
Yeah.
Great read. Yes.
And it's great to listen to because, you know, he was even just talking about, you know, finding your dreams and how people don't know how to dream. And they've really, it's been sort of like taken out of us. And he was giving us some really great tools. And I'm sure you have them in your business and I do in mine as well
Yeah.
to put them back in. It's like, yeah, you know what? We get to have fun in life. There gets to be joy in life. Work can be great.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. The first thing I do with my clients is a vision board. Like we have to have the strategy session. We need to know what are your goals? What are your dreams? Sorry. And I've had people who are like, dreams? Like, what do you mean dreams, Natasha? Like, I just want to get into a corporate 9 to 5, and get a good salary, and that's life, get a family and retire with my pension. I'm like, no, no, no. There has to be something more. There has to be something more. You have to have, it's like people need permission to dream big nowadays, right? Because
Yeah.
we're so structured into, yes, go to college, go to university, get your piece of paper, then go work for someone else. And then, yeah, that's life. But there's so much more out there, people. And I always say this, if there's something in your heart, there's this big grandiose, I wish I could do this. I wish I could be this. There's a reason why that's there. And now is the time to explore that. And I call that really aligning with your purpose. Like, I believe each and every one of us was born for a reason. We all serve different purposes. If everybody had the same gift, this world would be boring. You know what I mean? So it's really finding out what you do well and doing more of that. And that is how you find your purpose, really. Purpose equals passion. What would you do, people, even if you didn't get paid for it? But you got to get paid because you got to monetize and you got to live. What would you do? That's the thing that you should be doing. And if you're in a role or you're in a position where you're not, now's the time to say, this is my life. And I want my life to count for something. So what do I want to do? What do I want to be? It's not just when you're a little child. We still can dream now in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, our 70s, our 80s. Yes, I'm going to say 90s too. It's never too late, people. So Amanda, this has been great. And I'm going to ask you about advice because I think as entrepreneurs, it's so important to empower other people out there, around what they may be wanting to do in life or business. Is there a piece of advice that you would share with the audience?
I really believe that my biggest piece of advice is to go inward. A lot of times when we want to know what to do, we look outward to others. What's everybody else doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that what you should really do is get really personal with yourself. Get really curious with yourself. What do you love?
Yes.
What do you enjoy? What are you all about? What are your beliefs? Like, figure that out and go like in deep inside of yourself. And I think if you do that, you can never go wrong because then whatever comes from that is going to be something that you're going to believe in so much. And it's not about what can you make money fast at. No, no, no.
Right?
That's not sustainable.
Love it. I was just getting mesmerized by you there. I was like, oh, okay, yes, okay. No, that's beautiful, man. It's true. So true, people. So true. And it's not about money. I have clients that come to me and say, I just want to make a lot of money. I'm like, is that it? No, it's not going to work because when you do make a lot of money, one, you're not even going to be happy. Do you know any people I know that are so wealthy, like financially, and they are the most miserable people that I've met because they're not fulfilled. They're making a lot of money. They have the lifestyle, but they have nothing from within. They haven't really found their purpose. They're doing what they were told to be doing or what they thought would make them successful. But I always say this: success comes from doing what you love, and when you love what you do, again, success follows. And money will come. Money will come because you're not out chasing the dollar, you're chasing the dream. And by helping and serving more people, trust me, your basket will never be empty. Your basket will never be empty. So we got a question for you, Amanda. So from Afure, do you have support from your spouse to be an entrepreneur? What if they don't support you?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I totally understand that. My husband is supportive, but I would say at the beginning, he wasn't so supportive. So it's kind of been a bit of a journey for both of us. If your husband or your spouse, your wife, whatever, does not support you, I guess that you have to kind of make the decision for yourself about what their opinion means to you. Like a lot of times, if a client was to ask me that, I would ask you, so what? So that you can answer that for yourself, right? Why does that matter? Do you need to have their support financially? Or what are the reasons? Like figure that out. And then you can start deciding on purpose what you're going to do. Are you going to do it on the side? Are you going to, continue to work and do that at the same time? There's options, right? There's more options than our brain allows us to see in the moment when somebody says you can't. Because a lot of times what we do is we take what somebody else says to us, be it your spouse, be it your mom, be it your sister or your best friend, and we take that belief on and we put it on ourselves like it's our hat, like we have to wear it. Mm-hmm. We don't have to wear it.
We get a choice. You guys, we get a choice. We get a choice. And my take on that to you, Fury, is do your business. Do your business. And your hubby should be supportive. If this is your dream, if this is your goal, he should want to see you win. And I don't know the full parameters around the situation, but we need people who are going to support us in achieving our goals and our dreams. And your significant other should definitely be a sense of support for sure. And if he's not or she's not, I would say don't let that not allow you to go after your dreams. Don't let that be the reason why you don't do what you love. There's always a way to make it work, I believe we can all be happy doing what we love. It's just finding compromise in a relationship, potentially, Okay, any more questions for Amanda, people, as we get ready to wrap up? Great question. Really great question. Because I know that there's a lot of females and male that I coach too. It's like, my spouse is not really even supportive of this, or me getting coaching, but I need to do this for myself, right? Because again, self-love comes from you. If you don't love you first, you truthfully can't love anybody else. And if you don't love you and you get into a relationship, those things are going to show up too, right? So you got to do you first, and then you can give more. And I always say this, Amanda, like the more you give to to yourself, the more you're able to give to other people. And I feel like sometimes as women, we feel like it's the other way around. We got to give to everybody else, especially if you're a mom and you're a wife, everybody else, and then you seem to come last. But you need to come, and then you feel selfish. No, you actually got to put yourself first. So if you don't take care of you, you can't really take care of anybody else. What's your take on that, Amanda?
Oh, 1000%. If it's such an overused analogy, but so true, and that you need to put that oxygen mask on yourself first. But the real truth is that consider how you're going to feel if you take care of yourself, if you love yourself more than you love anybody else. And then from that feeling of love for yourself, consider all the things you can go out and do, feeling loved and supported and not needing that from anybody, because you give it to yourself. And that is ultimate power. You are just able to do anything from that place. But we get it backwards, and we think that we can just go out and get love from others, and that will fill us up. That, getting the approval of our spouse, or of our mom, of our friends, of social media, of our career even, right? So many of us fill ourselves up with our career. But it has to come from within, because then you just have more available to you. You're never stuck.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, concur 100% on that. 1000%. As we're wrapping up, I love quotes. I'm big on quotes and inspiration. Do you have a favorite one that you'd like to share with the audience?
I have so many favorite quotes, but I'll share this one because when I saw your question, I was scrolling through my Instagram. I'm like, what quote am I going to share? But I do love this one. It's Dr. Seuss. Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Perfect for this. Perfect for the show. Why fit in when you were meant to stand out? Absolutely. Absolutely, people. And that I think a lot of times is we feel like we have to hide, like coming on or live, or if your business requires you to be out in front of people, marketing yourself. If you're not used to doing that, it's very uncomfortable. But one thing about being uncomfortable, people, is that's where true growth is. So don't shy away from sharing your gifts with the world. I mean, each and every one of us has something. I mean, something so amazing to share. And if we just keep it bottled up in here, one thing's for sure, we don't want to talk about this. I had a guest on my show the other day, Andrea, and we talked about death. I don't even want to say that word, something that we all will have to face at some point in time is, do you want to go to your grave with your goals, with your dreams? Would that be the life you want to live, where you live the life where you weren't loving you, where you're always looking for self-validation from social media? How many likes do I get? Or from my spouse or a friend? Do I look beautiful today? Or from a coworker or a boss? Did I do a good job? No, people. Validation comes from you. Self-validation comes from you. And your values about who you are cannot be tied to anybody else.
Yeah.
And when you own that, that is the true power. That's where true power comes from.
Yes, it's so true.
That's why I love, like, when you're like, girl, are you sure you want to do something together? We're both coach. I'm like, of course. I'm the one. People, if you don't know, I'm big on collaboration. I'm not competing with anybody else except for who I see in the mirror, which is me. And when I met Amanda, and like I said, we didn't meet till we were actually at the event together. I was like, hey, okay, you're Amanda. Like, we had the conversation. It was just amazing. Our event together was phenomenal. And I had a client there. She's like, Natasha, like, for me, it was so great. I had a mindset shift in that, 3 hours we had together. And so, people, this is your opportunity. If you want to hear Amanda and I speak and talk about how to boost your confidence, how to eliminate self-limiting beliefs, how to live your life with fullness and gratitude and true purpose, walking in your purpose, join us on June 10th. We're going to be having a Zoom event. It's going to be a lunch and learn. Amanda will be on sharing all her goodies and her treats around what she does and how she helps clients and how she can help you. I too will be doing the same, sharing my goodies and treats and how I can help you. Because again, I believe in collaborating. I believe that we should work together. That's my motto. And the more of us that are doing what we love, the better the world's going to be. That's my mission. I want to see each and every one of us walking in our purpose, loving what we do. And I believe that's going to result in less crime, less hatred, less poverty, less suicide, less depression, less anxiety. So I'm big on that. Each and every one of us, we got a gift. Let it shine, Yeah. So as we're wrapping up, people, thank you for joining me on the show, Amanda. I look forward to seeing you on the 10th. Is there anything else you want to see or say before I say goodbye, or see you later, shall I say?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on today. This was such an amazing chat, and I just loved it. Other than that, I'm really excited to team up with you on June 10th. And, if you're at all unsure about what you're doing right now with your life, and if you're feeling uncomfortable in your body or with what you're doing right now, it's an hour. You deserve to invest that in yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an hour, people. I love that. Invest in yourself. I'm big on that. Invest in you, people. You're your greatest asset. Okay, Amanda. Well, I will see your beautiful face very soon. And thank you again for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you on the 10th.
Thanks so much, Natasha.
You're welcome. Go enjoy your dinner. I'm sorry
Thank you. No, you're good. Bye, everyone.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, beautiful people, queens and kings. How was that? Did you get anything today that you can take away in your toolbox, I say? Something you can put in your backpack that you can start working on today? Just knowing that you are beautiful as you are. Thanks, Root Ty. Thank you for the love, people. That was great. I'm happy to hear that. We go through life thinking we got to look a certain way, be a certain way. Let's just love ourselves for who we are. And let's just compete against ourselves. Like, when you look in the mirror, just say to me, I want to be better than I was yesterday. And what does that look like? So for all of you who want to connect with me, your opportunity to do that, I give a 30 minutes free discovery session. You can do that. We can talk about life, business, whatever in general that you want to move forward on. And again, it's free. Go online to natashabrussell.com, book your discovery chat, and we can get connected. Again, I'm big on helping you, men and women. I work with queens and kings to achieve your goals and your dreams. All right. And as I continue to work toward becoming my best self, let each and every one of us continue to work toward being our best selves.